There is a version of self-improvement that feels like progress but is not. You read the books. You follow the accounts. You absorb the frameworks, the habits, the morning routines. You can talk about Stoicism with precision. You know the vocabulary. You can name the philosophers and cite the arguments. And nothing in your life has actually changed. Epictetus was suspicious of this kind of improvement. He watched students come and go. He watched people become fluent in the language of philosophy without ever submitting to its demands. And he said something that still lands hard: the person who has made progress is not the one who can argue about Chrysippus. It is the one who has brought their desires and aversions under control. That is the whole measure. Not what you know. What you do. Who you are becoming. Book I, Chapter 4 is about what Epictetus calls prokōpē, progress. And his definition of it will frustrate anyone who has confused learning with living. He makes a distinction between the person who studies philosophy as content and the person who applies it as practice. The first person can explain exactly why external things don't matter, and then spend the next hour deeply disturbed by something someone said about them online. The second person may know far less theory, but when the provocation comes, something different happens inside them. Something holds. Not because they suppressed it. Because they have actually moved. Progress, for Epictetus, is measured entirely in terms of desire and aversion. Have your desires become more aligned with what is actually available to you? Do you want what is in your power, the quality of your effort, the honesty of your engagement, the direction of your attention, rather than outcomes that depend on things you cannot control? Have your aversions been redirected? Are you afraid of the things worth being afraid of: vice, cowardice, self-deception, rather than the things that cannot touch your character: failure, embarrassment, loss of reputation? If yes, you are making progress. If no, you are collecting knowledge about progress. Which is not the same thing. This distinction is not cruel. It is precise. Because the person who mistakes learning for living never gets better. They stay forever in the preparatory stage, reading more, noting more, planning to begin. And life moves past them while they are getting ready for it. The person who measures their progress in terms of their actual responses, who notices when they handled something with more equanimity than last year, who catches themselves reaching for external validation and redirects, who is less disturbed by the same stimulus that would have wrecked them before, that person is becoming something. Slowly. Imperfectly. Really. Progress is not arriving. There is no finish line where you are fully stoic, permanently calm, immune to all disturbance. That is not the goal. The goal is directional, to be moving. To be, each year, less enslaved to things outside your control, more rooted in what is genuinely yours. Epictetus talks about the person who blushes when someone criticizes their logic. Is that bad? Not necessarily. It means they care about getting it right. The question is whether they care for the right reason, because they want to actually think well, or for the wrong one, because they want to look good. The signal of progress is in what embarrasses you, what delights you, what you reach for when the pressure is on. Watch those things. Not the metrics you report to others. The ones that show up when no one is keeping score. That is where you will find out how far you have actually come. Subscribe to StoicForge for weekly episodes from the greatest minds in history. Ancient wisdom. Modern edge.
That was episode 3, Progress is a direction, not a destination. In episode 4, Epictetus turns to anger, and the argument that changes how you see everyone who has ever wronged you. Subscribe to StoicForge. Ancient wisdom. Modern edge.